If your loved one went missing, would you call the police to report it or would you wait to see if they turn up? This is the case of Dexter Williams. If you want to know more about his suspicious disappearance and the circumstances surrounding his disappearance, please continue watching.
Warrant has been issued.
And it's just so many questions that I have.
Memorial sign
It makes me really
is on the run.
And I bet he would run after what he's done.
A number of people.
The FBI is offering a reward. What was the order of events?
Never stop looking.
Police are now questioning a number of people.
This man that you see on your screen is 37-year-old Dexter Wade. His mother, Dexter Wade, reported him missing on March 5th because that's the last time she saw him leaving their home after she says they got into an argument and he left with a friend, and this is what she told police. And she had been searching for her son for months. And then she finally learned that her son, after he left home, a police officer had ran him over or hit him with his car. So I guess you could classify that as a hit and run, although the person is a police officer. And they did not tell her that he was hit and ran over by a car, or let alone that it was a police officer at the time. And after this, she later found out that he did have identification on him, and he also had a prescription bottle with his medication, which was properly labeled with his name on it. So I don't understand how police can go along for months and months and say, well, we don't know anything, but if we hear something, we will return your phone call. All along, this man is no longer alive, and they know this. Now, instead of telling this woman that, hey, sorry to inform you, but your son was hit by a police car and, he's no longer alive, but you can come down to the morgue and identify and claim his remains if you would like to do so. They didn't even take the decency to call this woman. And my opinion about why it might sound a little I guess like deja vu for some people, but I think that, people understand why I say it'll sound like deja vu is because we see this happen so many other times in so many other different ways and situations that, I could understand if it does sound like deja vu to some people. And trust me, I'm not, I guess you could say, making this out to be something that is not, because you can read the articles for yourself. But my thing is, they didn't let this woman know that her son was in an unmarked grave in the back of the county jail, where there are 124 other people in this unmarked grave. And they basically did this because instead of letting her claim his body, they could say, oh, we didn't know who he was and nobody came to claim him, so we put him in a pauper's grave with the other people. Now, you would think that in some way they would have these unmarked graves labeled by a number or something to identify the people or person that is in them. And I mean, I can understand that this is a county jail, but I don't think that you would put, I guess, a mass grave behind a jail. You would think that would be something that would go somewhere behind a prison, or even in today's time in a cemetery, even if it is unmarked. But I think the reason they did this is because her family, the Betterston family, has a lawsuit out in Mississippi in this particular county because her brother, which would be Wade's uncle, recently, before Dexter's death, was killed in some way. I can't remember all of the facts and details right now, but he was killed as well by the police department. And they are saying that it is, basically the family is saying that you can basically, if you go back to the articles, you can basically see that the uncle's death is or was a wrongful death. So now the family is suing because of this. And I think that this is the reason why they did Dexter in the way that. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I think that the police department, as well as the city, as most places do, I feel like they felt like, okay, this is, Mississippi. And we've always run things the way we run them here, and we're going to continue to do that. And someone like this, is not going to, tell us how things should go. We're going to tell you how things should go. And I feel like that is why they took revenge on Dexter, because they felt like, okay, we can't get the family to shut up about this lawsuit. So, and we can't get them to drop it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for the right time, and we're going to, basically get the one that we know that is easiest to target. And in this case, unfortunately, it was Dexter. And sadly enough, the picture that you see here is his family, along with civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, standing over his remains, because they were supposed to dig or exhume his body. I think it was at like 10 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock the next morning, after it, they found him, so that his family could lay him to rest in the way that they wanted to, now that they knew where he was. But these people, yet again, to add insult to injury, went out in, before the sun rose, and basically dug up his body and moved it. And their response was, we're not going to let these people come out here and embarrass us with these cameras. But if you felt like, my thing is, if you felt like you did nothing wrong, why do you have something to be embarrassed about? If it was an unintentional mistake, you could have just simply said, hey, this was a mistake, and we are so sorry, and we truthfully apologize. But that was not the case. I believe that was intentional, the way they did this, because they felt like they couldn't get the family to shut up any other way about the lawsuit that was going on with Mrs. Betterston's brother, how he died. So they got Dexter because he already had a criminal record and he had already been in prison anyway. So he was the easiest to target. But like I was saying, they dug up his body before it was time, before the family even arrived, and then all of a sudden his body goes missing. Now, his case, sadly, is not the only case like this that has been that has had someone go missing in Mississippi, and then they wind up in a pauper's grave because their body goes unclaimed. Because a lot of times when people are in jail or prison, their family will think, okay, we know the last place they were in jail or prison, so they are still there, even though they haven't received any letters or calls from them. They assume, okay, they're still there, and we'll just wait for them to get out. Or even some people's family, like Dexter, who is not currently incarcerated, and they are probably just walking home for whatever reason, was stopped by the police, and something, happened, and the person ended up deceased, and they were basically probably just thrown in this pauper's grave and forgotten about, because they felt like, oh, nobody's gonna realize that they're missing, and by the time they do, they're gonna already be buried, because they've done this before. They know how to maneuver it so that they can do this and get away with it. And yet again, this is Mississippi, and it is sad because it's not like this is 1930 or 44. It's 2024, for God's sake. So this should not have been happening, even though this happened in 2023. This should not be happening. It's just sad all the way around that this is happening. But I have so many more stories like this, or at least one more that I'm going to cover here. And you'll see why a lot of this is similar to Dexter's case. But unfortunately, guys, that brings me to the end of today's video. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you're not already subscribed, please make sure before you leave that you are subscribed, because it helps me out so much with videos like this. But until next time, guys, I'll see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.